You're still watching Joy News Prime. Good evening and welcome to the business segment. The Ghana cedi has witnessed some strong recovery against the dollar over the past 2 weeks. The local currency is now selling at 4 cedis 82 pesos compared with the 4 cedis 99 pesos earlier this month. The following report by George Riafe finds out if individuals and firms should continue holding on to their dollars when it is not really needed for business transactions.
The cedi's strong recovery over the past 2 weeks can be described as interesting. Compared to last month, where it was virtually depreciating every day, the tide has changed. Well, according to currency dealers and bank treasurers, it basically had to do with an increase in dollar supply as a result of inflows from the cocoa loan syndication. For some, the development could support claims that the cedi's recent challenge was more of a supply issue. Therefore, an earlier intervention could have halted it. One can also talk about the reduction in the number of investors who are getting out of emerging market bonds like Ghana, which has also contributed to the cedi's stability. Based on our engagement with bank treasurers and currency dealers, the local currency's strong recovery would indeed be sustained for quite a long while. So here's the advice. If you had rushed in to buy more dollars with the hope of cashing in on the depreciation, maybe your time is up. Let's say at 4 Ghana cedis 70 pesos and invested about 23,000 Ghana cedis should have given you about $5,000. Well, you might have made some serious gains by now, and maybe you might want to get out quickly before your fingers are bent or lose out on your investment.
Government says it has so far spent over 8 billion Ghana cedis to clean the banking sector following recent crisis which witnessed 7 banks collapse. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta made the disclosure at the Stakeholders Forum in Kumasi to solicit inputs for the 2019 to 2022 budget statements. It is the first of such engagements outside Accra. Ken Ofori-Atta says the consultation is expected to arrive at a people-centered and driven budget, unlike previous editions.
But we've also confronted some issues that we have to structurally deal with. We met with some banking crisis in which we have had to spend some 8 billion cedis or so to try and correct it. But that was necessary because of over 1.2 million depositors' accounts in there, and it would have been quite cataclysmic to allow the banks to fail. Not only did we save the depositors money, but also the depositors who had businesses and were employing people, we also saved them. So true, we've lost some jobs in the banking sector, but the consequences of not intervening would have been quite clear and to all of us.
The Tema Oil Refinery has evicted about 90 tanker and truck drivers who used the area close to the company's pipelines as parking space before lifting petroleum products out of the refinery. An assessment carried out by TOR's Anti-Fire and Explosion Campaign team reveals the use of fire by drivers of the trucks and tankers, which served as a recipe for disaster. The eviction exercise was carried out with assistance from the police and other security agencies.
The Tema Oil Refinery has since last year been engaging the drivers on the need to vacate the area to forestall any possible explosion. Crude oil has been the refinery's main raw material for production and is mostly imported from Nigeria and international sources and transferred through pipelines. After taking delivery of the crude oil, it is stored in tanks for processing into various finished products for consumption. Therefore, any illegal activity close to these pipelines pose a threat to humans and the infrastructure as well. Public Affairs Manager for TOR, Dr. Kinsley Nchibwesiako, says the area is being barricaded to prevent a return of these activities.
We first started with a sensitization exercise. We came to tell them about the dangers of their presence here and the dangers of the activities like fuel siphoning and all those things that they were engaging in. So we gave them up to today, Saturday, that if we came here and we found any truck, we were going to tow it away, and that they were also going to face sanctions. Fortunately for us, they had us in good years, and when we came here, about 99 50% of the BRVs that had parked there had voluntarily evicted or evacuated. We also had the police coming here to support us. So we had to carry out this exercise to protect lives and property and, to ensure that there won't be any explosion or fire outbreak because our pipelines are buried in the ground where they had parked their bulk road vehicles.
Meanwhile, Dr. Enchibuesiako is urging the Tema Metropolitan Assembly to also evict drivers who occupy an area close to toll but currently falling under the TMA's jurisdiction.
The other side of it, the city authorities are also responsible for the other side of the road. Toll has right of way on this side simply because our pipelines are buried, here, like I said. But the other side of it, is the responsibility of the city authorities, and we know that in due course they will also carry out eviction or evacuation exercise because activities across the street from here is also equally dangerous. So here at all, safety means a lot to us, and we carry out activities in a safe and environmentally friendly manner.
The Tema Oil Refinery is currently waiting to take delivery of crude to resume operations.
Now, Parliament is expected to ratify the Convention on Cybercrime adopted by Ghana last year. The ratified convention is expected to guide the country in developing strategies to deal with cyber attacks. Ghana is the third African country to sign onto the law since its adoption.
The Budapest Convention on Cybercrime is a framework for capacity building for member countries of the United Nations adopted in November 2001. Ghana became the third nation on the African continent to sign these two conventions last year. Speaking at the climax of the Cybersecurity Awareness and a Safer Digital Ghana Campaign Month, President Akufo-Addo assured that government is making efforts to rectify the deal.
In our efforts to pursue international cooperation engagements as part of addressing the menace of cybercrime, Ghana has ratified the African Union Convention on Cybersecurity and Personal Data Protection, that is the Malabo Convention, becoming the third country on the continent to do so. I have signed the Convention on Cybercrime, known as the Budapest Convention, following cabinet approval. I'm hopeful the Parliament will ratify it in its forthcoming meeting. These two international treaties will enhance our cooperation with other countries at the policy, technical, and operational levels in dealing with cyber security incidents.
As part of the convention, Ghana will set up a cybersecurity academy as well as a national cybersecurity authority to oversee the operations of all agencies in the digital value chain. National Cybersecurity Advisor Albert Enchibuesiako disclosed that due to the progress made by the country in fighting cybercrime, members.
That's all we have for you by way of business tonight. Many thanks for watching. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji Riafi. For more business, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Have a good evening.